we get... Okay, that's a pretty big number. Hey everyone, how is it going? I'm Russell Matthews and I'm back with another Canada Benefit update for you. Everybody knows that right from the start of the pandemic, the Canadian government has been handing out benefits to help Canadians who are having a tough time. It started with CERB, or the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, and now we're seeing a whole range of new programs coming out to put money into the pockets of Canadians who need it most. The program that tons of people will be switching to now is called the CRB, or the Canada Recovery Benefit. Applications open up on October 12th for the CRB, but there's actually a couple other benefits that have already opened up. With this new support, everybody knows that they're going to be getting some money, but how much? And not just for one period, how much total will you be expecting to receive from these benefits? In this video, we're going to calculate the total amount of money that you should expect to see in your bank account at the end of these new benefits. We're going to look at the CRB, the Canada Recovery Benefit. We're going to look at the CRCB, the Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit, and we're going to look at the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit too. We'll even take a look back at the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, or the CERB, and find out how much you could have gotten from that. And at the end of the video, we're going to take a look at the unique person who was able to apply for absolutely everything in the exact right order to get the highest amount of money from their benefits, and we're going to find out what that total is. If you're that person who fits every single little criteria, I'm thinking that number could be pretty big. But before we get into it, if you're new to the channel, hey, how's it going? It's nice to meet you. My name is Russell, and on this channel I post videos about investing, business, real estate, and personal finance. The number one goal of this channel is to give people high quality information so they can set themselves up to live a better future. If that sounds like something you're interested in, or you just want to stay up to date with all of the benefits that are coming your way from the Canadian government, then make sure to hit that subscribe button and ring that notification bell. I'm coming every single day with information about these benefits, and if there's any changes to them, maybe they increase the amount, they lower the amount, change how you can apply, you're going to be the first to know from this channel. And while you're at it, if you liked the video, hit that like button. I've done a little bit of math on it, and just one click of that like button could potentially spread the video to hundreds more people who could be desperately looking for this sort of information. And with that said, let's just get into the good stuff. The first benefit that we're going to check the numbers out on is the CRB. As you may already know, the CRB is a benefit that's designed for people who are either out of work due to COVID or have lost 50% of their work from their pre-COVID numbers. There are a whole bunch of other criteria too, so if you want to figure out if you qualify for this benefit, make sure you check out this video right here where I go over every single detail you could possibly need to know about the CRB. We initially thought that the CRB was going to pay $1,000 per 2-week period, but a few days back, they let us know that they would actually be holding $100 per period as a tax, and that leaves us at $900 per 2-week period. Don't be upset about that $100 being taken off, because they're just taking it off as the tax that you would have had to pay anyways. So really, it's the same amount of money that you would have been getting on the now expired Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, or CERB. The CRB spans the time from this September all the way to next September in 2021. Since there are 52 weeks in a year and the CRB is divided into 2-week periods, that leaves us a total of 26 periods we can apply for. But you probably know there's a cap on the amount of periods that you can apply for with the CRB. You can only apply for a maximum of 13 2-week periods with this benefit. That equals roughly 6 months of time that you will be able to receive this benefit. This ends up being about 6 months of time that you'll be able to rely on this benefit. So that's $900 per period and a maximum of 13 periods, which leaves us with a total of $11,700 that you can get on CRB. Now that's not bad, but I would definitely recommend trying to find a job, which you should be anyways if you're considering applying for CRB, because it's best to collect this CRB but also supplement it with income as well. I know, easier said than done in this job market, but it's worth it to really put your best foot forward into trying to get a job. But what about the other benefits? Are they better or worse than this? The next benefit that we'll be diving into the numbers for is the CRCB, or the Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit. As you may already know, this benefit is designed for people who have a job and need to either take time off their job or leave their job to care for a family member for COVID-related reasons. This benefit in the way it works is pretty similar to the CRB, but there are some small differences. First off, this benefit is chunked up into smaller periods. Instead of the CRB's 2 weeks, this one you apply for in 1 week periods. This kind of makes sense because the status of whether or not you qualify for this could change more rapidly depending on when you need to take time off to care for somebody. So I think it's a good thing that they made the applications more frequent so that people can really finely tune when they get the benefit. But since it's only 1 week periods, the total amount that you're getting was supposed to be $500, but they're holding back the tax again, so it's $450 per 1 week period. One important unique trait of this benefit is that it is calculated per household as opposed to the CRB, which is calculated per person. Like I said, this is calculated in weekly periods, and the maximum amount of times you can apply for these 1 week periods is 26 times. That works out to the same amount of time as the CRB, or 6 months of the year that you can potentially be on this benefit. So, as a result, the amount of money you can get is the exact same as the CRB. $450 per 1 week period multiplied by those 26 weeks worth of periods gets you to a total of $11,700. Now let's take a look at the third new benefit, the CRSB, or the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. This one is the odd one out from these 3 new benefits. It's far different from the other 2 benefits we've previously talked about. This benefit is designed for people who are working and have a job, but are experiencing COVID-like symptoms. It essentially allows you to take up to 2 weeks off in this period from September to September 2021 in order to quarantine or self-isolate to make sure that you are not spreading this virus to anybody. It was originally not going to be included in these new benefits, but Jagmeet Singh, the leader of the NDP, actually pushed for Trudeau to include overall sick pay for everybody, regardless of if it's COVID related or not. He said he wouldn't sign a bill unless this was included. But rumor has it, Jagmeet Singh and Justin Trudeau got together, had a couple backroom meetings and said, you know what, I'll still sign it as long as you at least include something for people to take sick leave. People were kind of mad that they didn't talk about this out in the open in the House of Commons, but what are you going to do? It's politics. Anyways, as I was saying, this CRSB you can apply to for a maximum of 2 periods, and each period is 1 week. So that's 2 weeks, obviously. And it's the same as the other benefits in that on a weekly basis, you can get $450. It doesn't take a math whiz to tell you that 2 weeks of $450 is a $900 total for the CRSB. Those are the totals for each of these new benefits. $11,700 for CRB, the Canada Recovery Benefit, $11,000 for the CRCB, the Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit, and a measly $900 for the CRSB, or the Canada Recovery Sickness Benefit. But could it be possible to get all of these benefits? If you're the select person who qualifies for multiple different benefits and timing lines up in the right way, it could be possible for you to claim way more than just the base $11,700 that you would get from one of the 2 main benefits. Contrary to popular belief, it's possible to apply for both the CRB and the CRCB, the Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit. And just as a disclaimer, qualifying for both benefits is 100% legal if you are qualified for both of them at the correct times. I don't want to see anybody trying to apply for both of these if they don't truly qualify for each of them and qualify at the correct times that make this possible. I literally just made a video about all the potential penalties you could face if you qualify fraudulently, so check out this video here just to disincentivize you from ever doing something like this. But if you're in that 0.1% of people who truly do and genuinely qualify for both of these benefits in the right way, then listen up. You can qualify for both benefits, but the hitch is you can't qualify at the same time. You can potentially apply for these benefits over the course of the entire year, but each of them has a limit on roughly 6 months, being your cap for the amount of times you can apply for that given benefit. So let's look at the exact situation where if your circumstances fits it exactly, you could be claiming benefits for the entirety of the year instead of 6 months. Let's say you're working at a job, but you have lost 50% of your income, and as a result, you potentially still could qualify for the CRB. You start collecting CRB in the first period that starts in late September, and you work for 3 months without a hitch while still receiving that CRB. That 3 months is arbitrary, but just follow along for this example. After those 3 months, let's say schools close down, and that's a problem for you because you have 2 kids in kindergarten. With nobody at home to supervise them while they potentially transition to online learning, you would have to take time off work completely to stay home and take care of them. At this point, you would likely transition to the CRCB, the Canada Recovery Caregiver Benefit. Let's say there's a second wave and they end up closing schools completely again. That would leave you staying at home taking care of the kids while they're learning online from January to June, or 6 months. And again, just as a reminder, it doesn't necessarily need to be schools closing down. There are other ways you could potentially qualify for the CRCB, so make sure you check out what those qualifications are. I've got a video of it coming up pretty soon, so hit that subscribe button and the notification bell to make sure you're the first one who knows. With your timeline being off work to help them during school from January to June, that would be the entirety of your CRCB benefit. But you'll remember you only used up 3 months of your initial CRB qualification. By the end of June, assuming you still qualify and are entirely entitled to your CRB, you could transition from the CRCB to the remainder of your CRB. That would take you through July, August, and September. That's a full 12 months of receiving benefits. Over the entire year, you would have collected $23,400 worth of benefits. That being said, the CRCB actually counts towards your income when you're talking about the cap that you can make for your CRB. If that didn't make the most sense to you, check out this video right here where I talk about how much money you could be required to pay back from your CRB depending on your income. As a disclaimer, this is my interpretation of what I'm reading on the CRA website. Before you ever go to implement a strategy about this, I recommend reading it yourself and making your own decision about it. I'm bringing you the most accurate information I can, but at the end of the day, I'm a dude on the internet that you've never met. Unless you're my mom watching this video, in which case, hey mom. But if you're not my mom, which you probably aren't, you should do your own due diligence to make sure you interpret all of these rules in the same way that I do. But now, we've calculated the total maximum that you can get from these new benefits over this year, and that's $23,400. This had me a little bit curious though, because I know there was another benefit before called CERB, the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, and I wonder how much you could have gotten from that and from this, and what the total is that you could have received from the Canadian government due to COVID-19. As a bonus, let's dive into the numbers of the CERB, or the Canadian Emergency Response Benefit. Most of you will know that CERB paid out a total of $2,000 per month. This went for a total of 7 one-month periods. If you qualified for every single one of those periods, that would leave you with $14,000. If we take the CRB and the CRCB combines, $23,400, and we add it to the $14,000 you could have gotten from CERB, we get... Okay, that's a pretty big number. It brings you to a total of $37,400. Don't worry about all those little extra zeros. There's actually a decimal point there. You're not making billions of dollars, sorry. But still, $37,400. Say what you will about Canada's response to COVID, but I think that's a pretty respectable amount of support for the ideal person who qualifies for everything. Now, I know most of you won't end up getting that number or anywhere close to that number, and that's a good thing. Technically, this is a worst case scenario type of support. Ideally, you want to have a job. You want to not qualify because of that job. I know there are lots of unique circumstances where people qualify for reasons other than this, and I'm not talking about you. If you're in the crummy situation where some small detail means that you don't actually qualify for the benefits, I'm sorry you're in that situation. That kind of sucks. But I'm still amazed that probably there's some person out there that at the end of this is going to walk away having received $37,400. But you should do your own calculations at home. Find out how much you're going to be able to potentially receive from this benefit. Now remember, this does not include the tax that you could have to pay on CERB. You'll definitely have to pay tax on CERB, and the tax that you could have to pay on the CRB and these other benefits. Just because they withheld tax doesn't mean that's the entirety of the tax that you're going to have to pay on it. So make sure you stay tuned to the channel because I'm going to be coming out with a video on how you can calculate how much tax you're going to have to pay on these benefits. But if you've made it this far in the video, drop a comment down below and tell me how much money do you think you're going to be able to be eligible to receive at the end of all this. Is your number far lower than this $37,400? Or do you think you'll be getting up there? Is anyone who's watching this actually going to be able to qualify for this? I guess you wouldn't really know at this point because you don't know what your situation is going to be 6 months down the road. But either way, do you think that you're going to be getting close to this or way lower? Let me know in the comments. And make sure to hit that like button because like I said before, if you click that like button, more eyeballs get on the video and it could really help them out. And as always, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell. I'm coming back every single day with new information about these benefits that you don't want to miss if you're going to be receiving them. If anything changes about the amount, when you can apply, how you can apply, you're going to know exactly what those changes are because you're going to hear them from me first. But that's it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, everybody, and I'll see you next time.